You're listening to Health Professional Radio with Wayne Buckler. Today my guest is Helen Kilmere, Director of Strategy and Partnerships of the Australian Community Support Organisation, known as ACSO. Helen, tell us a little bit first about the geographical footprint, because we do go out around the world and it's nice if people can kind of put a location around things first, and then tell us what the organisation does.
Sure. ACSO is an organisation whose footprint is mainly within Victoria in Australia, and more recently they've expanded a little bit more into New South Wales as well. So it's predominantly a Victorian geographical footprint. There's approximately 310 staff, and ACSO provides support services to approximately 30,000 people over a year.
They're big numbers.
30% of services, it's a lot of people, isn't it?
Isn't it?
30% of the services are provided in regional or rural Victoria. There are 40 locations, along with 6 really large hubs. There's also 6 hubs in metropolitan Melbourne, 20 walk-in drug and alcohol clinics in regional Victoria, and a post-release support function. So the footprint is confined to Victoria and New South Wales, but probably fair to say that it's growing.
Okay, they're really big numbers and a much bigger organisation than I had in my mind. Now, you mentioned there some of the people that you work with. Explain the services in your client base to us.
Absolutely. ACSO is predominantly an organisation that exists to create a safe and inclusive community freed of crime and prisons. And therefore, the ethos of the organisation is about creating another chance. So our primary, core business is working with people who are transitioning from prison, assisting people to stop reoffending and intervene to divert other people from committing crime in the first place. So our core business is people who are entering, exiting the criminal justice system. Those people may or may not have a disability, particularly an intellectual disability, or a mental health issue, and or associated drug and alcohol issues. We provide residential services. Sorry?
I think it's kind of conventional wisdom now, isn't it, that mental illness is extraordinarily high amongst incarcerated inmates in the prison system. And I guess that's going to flow through to you with post-release inmates as well.
Definitely. There's also quite a high identified now population of people with some degree of intellectual disability, acquired brain injury, or autism in the criminal justice system as well. So there's dual diagnosis issues around mental health and or disability issues as well. So it's a very complex space to work in.
Yes, it is. And I'm just being the devil's advocate here perhaps, but is it true that this doesn't gain a lot of public support? I mean, if I was going to sponsor a charity, I'm sure it's going to be easier if I'm doing pink bunnies or, breast cancer than I am offenders. Is that not the case?
Look, it can be the case. There can be some perception of that. I think that there's a general perception across the community about prisons and, the reasons people become incarcerated in the first place. However, if you look at the high proportion of people in that population who do start out with a mental health or dual diagnosis of disability, some of those people, you could argue, maybe shouldn't be in the prison system in the first place. However, there's not really an alternative. So there are disability services and mental health services within prisons to try to manage and provide programs and services for those people while they're inside prison. And I guess our job is to provide a second chance, and a lot of that work involves getting them employment and providing them with meaningful opportunities to re-engage and reintegrate back into their communities to prevent recidivism.
And do you find the employing community willing to give people a second chance?
There are some who are amazingly willing. We have some very large employment providers who regularly and have a real commitment to, on a regular basis, taking people and giving them a chance, people who have a criminal background. Obviously, we need to be careful about the types of employment that people go into and the types of criminal background that they may have. So there needs to be a good match. But the sort of services that we provide are about looking at what people can do, looking at their strengths, providing them with new skills, and hopefully providing them with a property, a house, a residential accommodation that's stable and secure, skills around budgeting, management, life skills, cooking, things that set somebody up to try to live a better life and a meaningful community engagement around them. So that actually requires a wraparound approach to the sort of work that we do.
You're listening to Health Professional Radio. My name is Wayne Buckler and my guest this morning is Helen Kilmere, talking about the work of AXO, an organisation committed, I guess, to providing services for offenders and those at risk of offending. And we've just been talking about the need to provide facilities and stable resources to allow people to take up that second chance. So Helen, tell me, if there was one thing that drove you nuts, a misconception amongst your clients and customers and patients, what would that be?
Because AXO provides the front door for mental health and drug and alcohol services across Victoria, people think often that the only way into our service is to call a telephone helpline. We've got a 1300 number, which is 1300 AXO 0, or to translate that, it's 1300 022760. We find that people often think that that's the only way to get in. We do have walk-in clinics, and people can walk into any of our hubs on site, and there's, via the website, there's apps that people can download. People also think there are long waiting times to get through on the phones to access these sorts of services. Currently it's less than 2 minutes, so we've got a very rapid service response. GPs, they're referring. There are some issues around, ensuring that GPs do refer people through the intake and assessment for mental health and drug and alcohol services. And we need to get people the treatment that they need as rapidly as possible. And the other challenge at the moment is the ice epidemic, which is a growing epidemic in Victoria and across Australia, and how we respond to the issues of ice and treatment services around that. So, people who are exposed to utilising ice often end up in the criminal justice system as a result of their lifestyles and health choices.
I'll just repeat that phone number because I know one of the things that happens when we mention a number on air is people scrabble for their pencils and then we don't say it again. So just for those people, it was 1300 022760, and also the website www.axo.org.au.
That's right.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. My guest is Helen Kilmere. Go on, Helen. What were you talking about?
I've just been talking about the ice epidemic, how an organisation like AXO can make a response to that. We're looking at, for example, collaborating with housing providers, providing opportunities for treatment facilities in, for example, the Goulburn Valley catchment, providing alcohol and drug treatment services and focusing specifically on issues surrounding ice use for regional Victorians. This is something that we're working with and collaborating with community partners on, the police, government, and looking at local solutions as much as possible. It's a very challenging space at the moment for all service providers in drug and alcohol.
I can well believe that. Helen, we're running out of time. Can I say thank you for your time this morning? It's been invaluable to have a chat with you.
Thank you very much.
This interview will have a transcript on hpr.fm and the audio files on SoundCloud for anyone who wants to catch up, having missed us this morning. You're listening to Health Professional Radio. My name's been Wayne Buckler.